Hey, Jules Blessed Vegan, and as always, welcome to my channel. And for those who are new, I know you can benefit. So I was wondering, are you a night eater? Do you have a desire to eat after the kitchen is closed? After you've actually had dinner, but you just got to have one more snack, one more whatever? Do you actually get out of bed, and go back into the kitchen to have another meal? Do you open the fridge at 1 in the morning and make yourself a sandwich? I'm laughing because I can't imagine doing that actually. But it's interesting. When I was a child, we always had set times, and most people did, right? And so my father would come home and dinner had to be on the table at 5:30, and everybody had to be home. Like, we had to rush home from everything and be part of dinner at 5:30. And it was kind of great because back then we did play outside, especially in the summertime, and we never presumed to have snacks, per se, between meals. I'm sure sometimes there was something, but not really. So usually while we were playing, we'd be thinking about, oh gosh, I wonder what's for dinner. I'm so hungry. It's going to be so good. And when we went in the house, we could actually smell the dinner and just enjoy it, really. Just enjoy every bite because we were actually hungry. And we hadn't been snacking up until dinner time, right? And I remember if I even asked for a snack, they would say, no, because you'll spoil your dinner, And then after dinner, the kitchen was closed, honestly. Whoever was in charge of dishes, because there were so many of us in my family, we rotated chores. Whoever was in charge of dishes did them and put them up, and we went on to homework and bed and whatever. And almost never, ever, ever did we eat something after the main dinner. And the main dinner, of course, had all the components, but it just wasn't something I did. So when I was a young adult and an adult in my 20s, I generally did not eat at night unless it was a special event. But when I got married, my husband was someone who did eat later and ate an extra whatever. And I started doing that sometimes. Usually if I brushed my teeth, I was like, oh, I can't eat because I already brushed my teeth. That was a good trick. But I accidentally kind of got into that a little bit. And praise God, I am not doing that today. Not even recently. Like when I'm done, I'm done. And that's okay. So anyway, I found an article, which of course I will include in the description of this video. It is called Tips to Help Avoid Late Night Eating. And I know some people need those tips, and I hope you'll share in the comments so that I can support you. But tips to avoid late night eating, it's a really good, simple one that might help you. I am not going to read the whole thing. I hope you'll take a moment to check it out yourself. But I do just want to do an overview. So it says, if you're in the habit of snacking after dinner and before you go to bed, you're probably taking in unnecessary calories. There are several reasons why people may start eating late at night. Boredom and fatigue are common culprits. There's also research that shows us that your body's internal clock, the circadian rhythm, makes you crave salty, sweet, and starchy foods in the evening. That might have been helpful when our ancestors needed to store energy to survive in times of scarcity. But now this tendency to eat late at night often leads to taking in more calories than you need. Even if you're genuinely hungry, your body might be getting in your way of achieving your health goals. When you eat late at night, you often may choose foods that are high in calories. Also, snacking after dinner can disturb your sleep, which can cause you to crave unhealthy foods the next day, all the way into the next day. You see, the consequence of what we do today affects our tomorrow. Try these tips to banish evening cravings and curb your after-dinner snacking. And if you must have a snack, go for some healthier options. I agree with that. I know that when I do eat late at night, for whatever reason, I just haven't timed my day properly. And by late at night, I mean more like 8 o'clock than 11. I am super uncomfortable. I lay in bed. In fact, I can't even lay in bed. I apologize and say I have to sit up. I can't lay down right after I've eaten. It's very uncomfortable. And I completely agree with, if you're genuinely hungry, let's say that you did not plan your day properly and you're realizing that you're hanging out at 10,000 calories and you're really supposed to average about 14. Of course, you will live until the following day. You might want to just drink water. But if you do choose to eat, make it healthy. Some crunchy vegetables, 1 or 2 pieces of fruit, something very simple. So it says tips to control cravings at night. Controlling your daytime meals helps avoid eating late at night. To minimize after dinner eating, plan healthy meals and in between meals snacks during the day. Plan to eat at home, which is helpful. If you're on the go, make sure that you have some snacks, of course. The next tip is a good morning meal helps curb bad evening habits. And I don't know when your breakfast actually is to break your fast. I don't know. A lot of people do intermittent fasting. Some people only have a window. Doesn't matter. Whenever it is, make sure that whatever you choose to eat initially is good. So it says, what habit is shared by many people who have lost weight and kept it off is eating breakfast every day. Eating healthy food first thing in the morning gives your body the fuel it needs to stay focused throughout the day and helps you avoid getting over hungry and then binging later in the day. I actually like to do like lemon water in the morning, and then I usually don't eat until like 10 or 10:30. And for me as a school teacher, that's because that's usually first recess. But that allows me to extend my window a little later in the day, especially if I'm doing like a 8-hour window, right? 16 hours of not eating. You can call it intermittent fasting, but 16 hours of not eating and then 8 hours of eating. Because I never know what's going on in the afternoon and evening, I may choose like 10:30 to 6:30 or 11 to 7, something like that. Sometimes it's noon to 8, though I don't have to eat until that later window, but I have the opportunity to. So it says, to ensure you eat a balanced breakfast, make sure that you include some kind of fresh frozen fruits. It even says canned fruits, which can be fine, right? It's probably the last option. And some kind of protein, which is why I put chia in my smoothies. All right, the next thing, protein and fiber to calm night cravings. Spread your protein consumption throughout the day, especially at breakfast and lunch. Some healthy options are energy-dense foods that are high in protein but low in fat and calories. And of course, I don't know what your eating plan is, and I don't even recommend these things for me because I'm being vegan. So I'm not even going to give their examples. I'm just going to say it's really important that along with your carbs, you include a small amount of healthy protein if you can, because it'll satiate you more. So eating meals and snacks rich in protein and fiber can satisfy you till you go to sleep, and avoid the late night eating. The next one is keep track of your habits. Keep an actual food diary so that you know if you're getting enough calories in or if that's what is triggering you at night. Technology is your friend. Obviously, there are a ton of apps you can use to monitor your food. Get some sleep. This is the next tip. When you don't get enough sleep, it disrupts your hormone levels that help tell you how full you are after a meal, which can lead to late night eating. Depriving yourself of sleep makes you feel likely to overeat, possibly because it helps you cope with feeling tired. Going to sleep earlier can help you avoid late night food cravings. The next one, turn off any screens, particularly at night. So, sometime before bed, choose to turn off all of your technology and all those lights that are bothering you to death and let your body reset. Temptation be gone. Don't keep binge foods in the house. If you're vulnerable to eating a lot of food at one time, try to make those foods as inaccessible as possible. Common binge foods such as cookies, candy bars, ice creams, chips. How can you keep those out of the home? I will say that more often than not, when I am dying to get something, I rarely go out and get it. And that is awesome, because in the past I'd be like, no, I'm going. They recommend brushing your teeth. A lot of times if you already brushed your teeth, it's a sense that you're done. And then some things that aren't on here that I would say are definitely drinking more water. Sometimes when you're thinking you're hungry at night, you're actually just dehydrated. So I would definitely drink more water. Again, choosing those healthy snacks and just having a sense of what your goal is, right? If your goal is to lose weight, if your goal is to have a good night's sleep, if your goal is to be in control of your choices and parent yourself, these are some of the tips to do that. There's tons of articles on this, but I thought this was a pretty good one. So what is your story? Are you a late night eater? You will rarely find me, if never, in that fridge. But the stuff that I'm tempted by isn't even in a fridge. Let's be fair. Anyway, I'd love to know what you think. Like if you like, join us if you haven't. Let me support you in the comments below. And until we talk again, know that you're blessed.